Previously on Ready to Die.
PFF just mocked him because I literally, before I jumped on here, I did like 5 mock drafts, and he was there for us every single time. And lo and behold, I had just read a tweet before I went live talking about how Jacksonville was high on Ted McMillan. And here we go. So, do I know that this is how it lands? I don't know. But I do think that a lot of people are throwing smoke screens on this kid. I think there's a possibility he goes higher than even we think, possibly there with, Jacksonville, possibly to the Raiders, possibly to New England, right? But regardless, if he's there at 8, there is not a chance I'm passing on him. Why? Because if he hits, I would think that the floor of him is still enough to help push this offense forward with just contested catches alone. Red zone opportunity, or maybe some drags, maybe some boundary, stuff. But, man, if he hits, y'all, we have seen what if he hits look like in our division for the last 10 years. I don't know about y'all, but if we got a chance at that, I want it. Oh, my gosh, y'all. Listen. So there's times when you think something might happen, right? You think you might get that job that you applied for, that you might not even necessarily be qualified for. You might be able to go get a specific car, that you want, right? When you're young and you're 16 years old, you're thinking about your first vehicle or whatever, and you think like, all right, I don't know what this is going to look like, but I'm super excited. I know what I would like to have versus what actually happens, right? And I think that's how I felt about the Carolina Panthers for a number of years. I know what I would have liked to have seen happen for a long time, and then there's actually like what happens, right? You would have liked to have seen someone like Devontae Adams, but we got Devin Funchess. And I mean, look, salute to Funch. Funch was a great receiver for us for, some time. Well, great, maybe he was good, right? Or other players that we've seen over the course of time, right? Many of us probably didn't know what Luke Kuechly was going to become, but that was really cool. But short of guys like Christian McCaffrey, when it comes to offensive skill positions, we don't typically see this team swing for the fences ever until last night. When the Panthers announced that they drafted Ted McMillan, I almost didn't, like it was so surreal in that moment that I didn't believe it, right? And look, I get it. Is Ted McMillan Randy Moss? Probably not. Actually, I ain't going to say probably not. I don't want to disrespect Randy like that. No, right? Do we know if he's going to be Jerry Rice? We don't know what this kid's going to be in the league. We don't, right? But it's not so much that it's what you can project. And as I've said previously, myself and many other experts, many other content creators, you're betting on the upside. You're betting on what he can be. Because if he hits in the way that he could hit, like, look, I think he's going to hit. So let's just get that out of the way. Ted's going to be a good player. Hey, what's up, guys? It's John Farmer. And what's the one thing that causes more frustrations for sports fans while watching your favorite game? Penalties. These flags have the ability to alter the outcome of games, keeping you out of the playoffs, or possibly worse, winning a Super Bowl, which leaves us feeling helpless and voiceless. Well, not any longer. Introducing Penalty Verdict, the ultimate penalty voting experience. With Penalty Verdict, you can vote on penalty calls in real time on both NFL and college football games. Engage with a community of football fans who desire fair play and accountability, and unlock the next dimension of sports by engaging with real-time polling referees, players, and teams. Penalty Verdict is in the developmental stages and would love to hear from you. What features would you like to see on the app for the upcoming football season? Make sure to go to penaltyverdict.com, sign up to join the mailing list, and give your information and your feedback for the upcoming football season. Look, this is going to be an absolutely revolutionary app for us to be able to vote in real time. I love this. Penaltyverdict.com, join the waiting list, wait for the revolution to begin. But can he be a great one? Because if he goes from good to great, you're talking about all-time metrics when it comes to just body type and ability, right? I just never thought that Carolina would be in a position to make such a daring move, right? Especially, and I understand this because I've seen this tweet out there a lot. And trust me, I've got my own, amount of pushback from my previous mock drafts, right? How can you have the worst defense in the league and draft an offensive skill player? Well, you build some of that through free agency. I'm one that believes that the moves that we made in free agency, in addition to some injured players that are coming back, if we didn't draft one single player in this draft defensively, we still would have a better defense next year than we had last year. Is that enough to compete? Probably not. Is it enough to get us better? Yes. But the offense wasn't all that much better. So which would you bank on? Your quarterback who threw 5 total touchdowns at the end of a season and giving him an opportunity to have a special guy, right? Versus, maybe grab a guy that could be great. Maybe try to figure out where he goes in Jalen Walker. Or maybe definitively in James Pierce Jr., as Atlanta did with both guys. I personally would take what we took, which is why I mocked him and many others did. I'm going to bet on that because there's other players in this draft, and we'll see that coming up today, that I feel like we could grab that would fill as many of those needs as we have, right? But y'all, beyond the technical stuff, I was excited. I'm still excited. Still surreal, right? Ted McMillan is bringing what could be, as an ex-receiver, someone who you have to account for on one side of the field. That's going to open up so many opportunities for everybody else, right? Everybody else being Jalen Coker, everybody else being Adam Thielen, and one in particular, everybody else being Xavier Legette. Tons of conversation surrounding him after this pick was made. Do I think this is an indictment on Xavier Legette? No, I don't. But do I think it says something? Yes, I do. I don't think that it says that Xavier Legette won't be a great receiver for the Carolina Panthers, because I still believe that to be the case. What I do believe is that they don't see him as the X receiver. They don't see him as the primary, right? The guy who does, like I said, the outside X guy that gives you the opportunity where safeties are like, okay, I got a key on that side of the field, right? Now, granted, he had that opportunity in the absence of Deontay Johnson last year, and in a lot of ways, he stepped up to the plate. But there was a lot to be desired. And I do believe that they still believe in him. But they told you these moves in the offseason when they tried to get DK Metcalf, when the name was out there, our name was out there for him. So it's not as if this makes XL, who was excited, by the way, saw XL's tweet, whether that was, just, hey, I'm putting this out here so that people don't start, talking crazy, thinking that I'm, talking down on the young kid or whatever like that. Who knows? I would tend to think that it was sincere, that Xavier was truly like, man, this is going to be amazing, because this does free up opportunity for you to be the best version of yourself, right? But again, this is one of those things that when you see it, it's just hard to pass on, man. It's hard to pass on these metrics. I'm just glad we did it. I'm glad it wasn't somewhere else. Trust me, he was big on other people's boards. Saw Micah Parsons was upset because he wanted him down in Dallas. I saw him mocked there a few times. There was a possibility that he could have went to New Orleans. I'm just glad he's not in a division. And I know some people will probably be like, well, what about Jalen and James Pierce being in a division in Atlanta? Hey, look, it's up. Of course, they're not going to not try to go out and get people, right? You would hope that they would do that for their team's sake. But for us, I'm glad that the other thing that they told us is that without question, they believe in 9. They believe in Bryce Young. What he showed at the end of the year is like, not only do we believe in you, kid, but we're going to correct the mistakes from the past, and we're going to build and develop you by giving you what you need to be successful. What are those mistakes of the past? Passing on opportunities to bring in players for Cam Newton to show success, to have success. Cam Newton gets that really 2 times in his career. Kelvin Benjamin didn't work out. Christian McCaffrey did. And I find it ironic that the year that Christian McCaffrey had with Cam Newton throws over 67% completion percentage, right? So if you develop these guys and give them weapons that help them, trust me, it's just going to continue to get better. I can't tell y'all again. I am so excited. I'm so happy for this team, and I'm so happy. You know, this is one of those, like, this could be a cornerstone moment in our franchise's history. We look back on this and be like, man, that was the one decision they made. Maybe not the most popular decision, definitely a shocking decision. We got a lot of national buzz because of it, right? Even during the, actual draft itself. Maybe not necessarily the most, the decision that people would think is the most important, especially considering the defensive situation. But a couple of years from now, we could be looking back saying, like, man, wow, this offense is unbelievable. All because of this one situation. So kudos to Dan, kudos to Dave, kudos to David Tepper, for making this decision. So, look, we got the rest of the draft coming up tonight. There's tons of defensive players available. We're at 57 right now. Who knows if we move up? Hey, listen, click this link right here or this video right here to go ahead and get ready for the draft. I'm going to be live tonight. Didn't go live last night. I really wanted to just chill and enjoy it and just soak up the moment, but definitely going to be live tonight just to kind of, go over what we've already kind of talked about here. But yeah, like I said, click that video. Make sure to hit your bell notification. I will be live tonight, probably around the 7 o'clock point, and we'll keep it going, man. I'm excited. I look forward to tonight, man. I can't wait to talk to y'all more. Keep pounding.